Welcome to the second episode of our extra nice Fight with Spirit series, everyone. This series, we have one half of the Storybrewers, Haley Gordon, with us to learn about their fantastic sports anime-inspired game, Fight with Spirit. But before we get to today's episode, here's what to expect in the calls to action after the show.
Join us back here to learn about the Skyjoust supplement for Fight with Spirit, the new stickers coming out for our Patreon sticker club, along with our patron thank yous and normal episode closer things.
Yes, with all of that out of the way, enjoy the show, everybody.
This is my time.
On the last episode of Character Creation Cast, we created a college team named the Demons, consisting of professional-level esports players of a game called Decimation Squad 5. Haley was creating the new team captain for the Demons. Amelia was creating a returning player after they had quit the team previously. And I was creating the team Heartthrob. We're picking up right where we left off last time. Enjoy.
Okay, I think that gives us a really nice enmeshing of our characters as a good starting point. So what we need to do here to work on finishing creating our characters, there's a few things we need to do, so I'm just going to run through them. Firstly, we all know, of course, the hardest part that requires a baby name book is, of course, that we need character names and pronouns. We know which team we're from. We're from the Demons, so that's easy. We should position, so we don't exactly know how Decimation Squad 5 works. However, I think it would be fun if we gave ourselves a name that describes a position, even if we don't fully know what that position entails.
Yeah, for sure.
School year and age, so that's like how far through college are you? How long have you got to go? How old are you? You can pop that in there. Then each of the traits, as I mentioned, has got 2 backstory questions. So those are automatically copied right down the bottom. If you scroll down to the very bottom in this backstory worksheet, you can answer them down there. And then when you feel ready to give an overall description to your character, you can pop that in the bit right under relationships, which says description and further notes about your character. You can also give them a picture if you want in the big gray square cell, or you can just describe them non-pictorially if that's your preference too. And the last thing that's part of creating your character that I want to talk about is connections. So in Fight with Spirit, along with playing your major character, you're also going to be playing a secondary character called a connection. And you're going to be playing a connection that someone else has created. So a connection is someone who is important and influential to your character. Your character might love them, they might hate them, but they have a significant influence and relationship to your character. And most of these will be rivals, but like I mentioned before, some of them can be other characters who are important in your major character's life, such as parents or teachers or best friends who are trying to drag you in a different direction or whatever it is. So you start the game with 2 connections, and at least one of these needs to be from a rival team. And that is either going to be, and it should be, one of the first 2 teams that we are going to face. So that's going to be either the Newcrest Neons or the South Beach Sharks. And what we want is to make sure that between us, we have some representation from both those teams, right? Your second connection can either be from the other rival team. So if your first one's from the Sharks, it can be from the Neons. Or like I said, it can be someone else in your life is good too. When I say rival, it just means that they're from a rival team. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're your rival. They could be your best friend. Rival in this game just denotes the fact they're from a rival team. And so you might be wondering, what about the arrows? Well, as we played the game, there is a dedicated point where we'll be making new connections. So those connections will be coming in and entering into the story as characters that we're going to have more to do with as we get closer to playing them in that final round.
Okay.
I think that is what else to say about connections. I think that otherwise filling that out is pretty straightforward. The only other thing to keep in mind is where it says like character is. What's your opinion of the major character? I mean, it's stated there that is the connection's opinion of your major character, not your major character's opinion of the connection. People sometimes get that the other way around. And the purpose of that is to help the person playing that connection know how to play them in relation to your major character.
Very cool.
All right, so that's. Does anyone have any other questions before we like do the character creation?
Yeah. I think so. I'm just trying to figure out which team we said what about.
You can always pop back to our team sheet, the Demons team sheet, and have a look at what we wrote there as well.
So we had former teammates and local kids. Got it.
And obviously, like, so this should be a collaborative process as it has been so far. We can be talking throughout this. We can be like, hey, you know how I've taken you under my wing? Well, I'm thinking this thing. How's that, sit to you or like whatever as we go along as well.
I'm also really trying to think of a name. And positions. This is so difficult. There is a section in this book, Ryan, of video game names, though.
Oh,
that's fun. Doesn't really help me here necessarily.
Gamer tags, yeah.
It's names of characters from video games.
Because I mean, we technically could name our characters as gamer tags.
Ooh, yeah.
So instead of having actual names, we refer to each other as our gamer tags.
I feel like having names too, though. I feel like
probably both,
because otherwise it's probably too long.
Yeah.
I like the idea of having your gamer tag there as well, though. That's pretty cool.
We talked about like being named like something related to what we do in the game. What is Decimation Squad 5?
It really feels like either like a first person or third person like combat game.
Yeah, like a battle royale kind of a thing.
Yeah. Something like that feels good. It feels more action potential than a top-down real-time strategy click and click and click and click and click sort of game.
Yeah. So you're thinking like modern? Are we thinking like fantasy? Are we
future?
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they get very creative with the maps taking place on different like gravity planets and
that's cool.
Space stations. And
I like the idea that they have like a bunch of different like gravitational options and like terrain option, and so like each map is like randomly generated from some kind of combination of those factors, so you never know what you're gonna get.
That's really cool.
One of the most fun maps is the space station ring, where gravity is normal on the outside, but there's poles to the center with zero gravity in the middle.
I love it.
That would be a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Okay, well now
I was thinking
game
about
that I
positions too. Like, it feels like maybe there's like effectively offensive and defense sort of positions in the game. So like maybe somebody's like, I don't know, like it feels like a striker might be a name of a position, and like I'm
I don't know. I feel like you have like an engineer and a like
yeah, like a support. It feels like you definitely have support in this as well, right? I like engineer. That's fun. That feels team captainy to me. I might be the engineer as the team captain.
Nice.
I'm like the one who has
think of like a name that sounds like engineer, and all I can come up with is like Eugene. Eugenie? Something like that. Sounds kind of like engineer. It has that vibe.
Yep.
Eugenie? There's a princess, like British royalty, some sort.
I think I might have taken over as the striker of the team then. Like front lines, attack fast, sort of type of character.
So then I'm also a striker.
Or you were, at least. Are you still?
Good
I don't know. I don't know what all the positions are. It
I
seems
mean,
like a kind of a thing where you would have more than one striker, but
that's fair.
you know.
We could both be strikers. What do you feel in your heart, Amelia?
I feel in my heart like this is a game we made up and I have no idea what my options are.
Unlimited potential.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Gravity Flip is a fantastic
That's a really
tag.
good game. Yeah. God. I love hearing how people like came up with their gamer tags too. My son is like very attached to his. He did esports for a little while, but he's had the same like gamer tag since he was 4, I think, and had to like make an account on the Wii or the PlayStation or something like that. So his is Badgerfish7 because his nickname was Badger. Goldfish are his favorite snacks, and his birthday is April 7th. And now he is nearly 13, and it is still Badgerfish7.
All right. I've got a name for my character.
Victor Danger.
Victor Dangerton. Also known as Two Shoes McGee 14.
Oh my god. Wow. I can't.
I broke Amelia.
I can't. Two Shoes McGee 14. Wow. See, I'm over here like trying to like seriously find a name that like
It's a lighthearted anime, Amelia.
Ryan, I can't.
And I like that he's just stuck with it because like that was his gamer tag when he was 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just stuck, right?
Well, because PlayStation won't let you change it once you have one. So
right,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
But he's a very serious heartthrob on the team.
This is proving like way too difficult right now.
Well, the fans like two.
Two shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. It's probably come to think of it, my signature look is like
It's
over the shoulder.
I was like, is it wearing 2 different shoes?
I like that too.
I think it's like the same kind of shoe, but like you're always wearing like one of one color and one of the other.
Yeah,
so
different styles on each side.
Chuck Taylors or something like that. And there's, you know.
Like, obviously this is filmed, right? Because we've got the at-home viewership. So like the over-the-shoulder, like side glance peace sign when I do a especially like amazing move is probably my signature look.
Okay, if you're going to be Two Shoes McGee, then we're going to do this. Okay.
I cannot wait. Names are happening.
Oops. Okay, so it is going to be, like have sort of like a star related name, but also this is my Taylor Swift related gamer tag. So I will be
Estelle Jones.
Estelle Jones at Sparksfly.
That's cool. I like that.
So
Okay. And I will also be a striker. So like whenever people ask, I pretend it's not a Taylor Swift lyric. And I'm like, no, it's because I play a game in space. And obviously like as, this and like I've got all kinds of reasons for like, it's like stars. And like people are like, that's a Taylor Swift lyric.
Do you talk in like numerology code when you're like talking about and defending yourself and how you play?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. That sounds hard for Amelia as the player to
I know. Right.
to follow through on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All the Swifties are like just die hard examining your gameplay, like smack
Right,
talk.
right. To see when the next album's going to come out. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Look, what if she announces Reputation tonight?
Right.
Um,
Turns out Estelle Jones is just an alias and is actually Taylor Swift.
Yep. It's true.
She wears a wig, so amazing.
Connections here. I don't have names for these people or ideas of what they are. I mean,
One of them is going to be the person that the rival that is already taking the plunge for your ready or not trait.
oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Which means you also need to think about what is the dream you've been working towards.
I know.
How long has Victor
I
been on
think-
the team? Is he new this year? Or is he
I think he's new this year,
new
yeah.
this year? All right.
Mm-hmm. He's been big in the online community
Mhm.
playing for a while, and then his freshman year he was like a little too gun shy in applying for the team.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But then like, you know, and they got this new coach, and like the team feels like, you know, felt like they were struggling. So he's like, I gotta help out.
Can Cal have like personally asked Victor to like fill in the application?
I think that would be really cool. Like, yeah, absolutely. So I think that's probably the part of himself that he hides from his fans, is that he's really shy.
Everyone thinks he's cool and mysterious, but
Mhm.
it's just nice.
Like he puts on this performance.
Yeah.
Like I think he's also in theater
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
to try to get over that shyness.
Right.
But like he's got that performance like need, but like in person he's like, hey, how's it going?
That's cool.
He's really timid. He's definitely got the long hair going. Like he could be in a shampoo commercial.
And how long do you think Estella's been back? Has she been here this whole year, or did she come part way?
I think she took a year off
Mm-hmm.
last year. I think so. I think she's also like in her. I'm trying to decide. I was like, I think given that question of like, you know, being like ready or not, I think for her it's really about thinking like what happens after
Mm-hmm.
I graduate. So I think she's in her fourth year of doing this. Like she's in her last year of college, and you know, like took last year off partly because like our team was doing so bad, and it was like, is this really like worth my time? Maybe I should be focusing on something. But then like came back because she really does love doing this, and so now she's kind of trying to figure out what to do
about it. Yeah.
after this. I think she'd like to become like a commentator or like continue to be involved in it in some way, and not just be like a person who used to play a video game, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like it means more than that.
Sounds like last year was awful and I was the only one who was there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
And also it's a 5-player game, so we do have 2 unnamed teammates.
Yes.
It's true.
And it's up to us whether we want to create them as connections or whether they're going to be like people that we can name, but they're not really going to be a significant part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's more that second one. Like,
Yeah.
we'll
Shazza
We'll
and Bazza,
refer to
they're
them
just
as
there.
needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If they become more important in play, that's probably
Yeah,
fine.
and
but,
that's when you
like,
can create them as a connection when you have that next opportunity. If you feel like, oh,
Yeah.
this is becoming a significant character in our story.
mhm. They probably play like the support roles and
Mhm.
that sort of stuff. We have 2 folks from the Neon's connection. I'm going to choose a connection from the Sharks.
Mine is not locked in yet. I was thinking of making them whatever school you choose that gave you the offer, if it's one of those. Although it could also be the Arrows, in which case it would be from that school.
Yeah. I'm thinking the Arrows are the one that made the offer, but only because of my like outward personality. Like I think one of the things that Arrows is missing is that connection with the fans. They're like brute force just killing it, but like they just shrug off on you fans or anything
Yeah,
like
right.
that.
And their sponsors are like, come on.
you need a face of the team.
Yeah,
you need somebody
exactly.
that people can get excited for. And yeah, and I think that's why they're trying to recruit me.
I feel like Cal was sort of like very ambivalent about Estelle rejoining the team. Like, they were like, I hate that Estelle left when stuff was bad. I really don't like that. But at the same time, Estelle's good and we need her.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I hate that she's good and we need her. I dislike this too.
Yeah, there's definitely that sense of like the frustration with like, I want to be able to like bench you, but I can't because we need you.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I feel like I probably have some like a little bit of resentment of the fact that, you know, you're the captain now and you're, you know, a year younger than me because I took that year off and like, you know, it's like it should be me. I should be in charge. So I definitely feel like there's a little bit of friction there.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I love these people. We're doing a good job, guys.
Mm-hmm.
No, I guess I should put description here. He tries to start trends to deflect attention.
Yep. Yeah, Victor is very like stage magic of personality type.
Gotcha.
Like, look over here, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain sort of deal.
I see. Okay, so now I'm trying to question whether I admit that this is a Taylor Swift lyric or not. Because part of me is like, maybe Estelle just really is into Taylor Swift. And like, so like outside of the fact that I play Decimation Squad 5, like everything about me is like very like preppy, girly kind of like.
That is a very fun character in like the laughing
I kind of like
tone.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go ahead and be a hardcore Swiftie.
Amazing.
That's amazing. All right. So for my tempting offer, the Arrows were recruiting me because they don't have a face and the sponsors are kind of demanding it. And their opportunity that would push me to accept is offering a full scholarship, not just for me, but also for my little sister who's about to start college after this season.
Aw, that's awesome.
But then I'd have to betray the demons and then go to a school that I didn't want to go to in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But like free college.
Does your sister play the Decimation?
She does.
Oh, it's like your sibling bonding.
Yeah. That's how we practice.
I love
That's
it.
Fun.
Did I just make an important connection person there?
It sounds like it.
It does. And you know, if you wanted to make that even juicier, you could put her in her first year somewhere and make her one of the like in the rival team.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But that's up to you whether you want to go that way or not.
It is
Well, they can still be two different connections, Ryan. You don't have to like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like your sister can also be a rival.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
So you have somebody on the rival team on the Sharks,
if,
and
like,
then you could also have somebody on the.
Yeah. It would make sense if she was on the Sharks because that's like, A, I think I'm getting community college vibes from them. And like B, like they're the newcomers and it sounds like she is about Decimation Squad but doesn't have that much experience yet. So moving from the Sharks to the Arrows could be a huge thing for her, right? As well.
Yeah.
Puts even more pressure on your character, right?
That makes a lot of sense. Oh my goodness.
That's really intense, Ryan.
Yeah. So she's 18. My character's 20 years old. And she's in the first year of community college at the Sharks community college.
Oh.
What position does she play? Support. She's the healer of the team.
I think I'm actually going to make this other longtime friend the engineer for the other team.
Oh, cool.
They're also going to be.
We get gamer tags for these guys too.
Oh my god!
Yes.
We didn't name them though, so I don't feel like we have to have a gamer tag. But if you want to make one for your sister,
I'm gonna absolutely.
Well, because she's your younger sister. What if she's 3 Shoes McGee?
3 Shoes
or 2 Shoes McGee 15?
I'll see.
Okay.
Her last name is Dangerton though, which tickles me.
Dangerton.
Oh, gosh.
I think her name's Stephanie Dangerton.
Stephanie Dangerton.
I don't know why that.
I do like that a lot.
We got to stop making up video game teams, right? But obviously the sticker for this month is going to have to be... I have to come up with a logo for Decimation Squad 5.
I feel like my thinking for Cal is that like they're kind of a different person to the person you would remember a few years ago. I think they were used to be more easygoing, and now they're like, all right, everyone abandoned
you basically
this
had to
team.
carry the team last year. You know, like hold things together, it sounds like. Yeah.
Everyone left. It was terrible. That is not happening to me again. I am captain now, and I am going to do captaining. This is not...
You're literally rebuilding the team.
I'm literally rebuilding the computers in the printer room.
I know.
That is what Cal spent the whole summer doing.
You're the true engineer. Yeah.
Right. You're like, you've installed so many fans in that room.
Yeah. Like, none for us, but each computer has like four case fans.
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine too that you've also like organized all of the teacher supplies that were in there though, and like stacked the paper and like built shelves and everything for all that so that it would take up less of our space. You're like, these paper boxes are too much. It needs to go on the shelves. Like. Yeah.
And then Liz is like, every time a teacher who is like a way more authority than me comes in and moves it in the incorrect space, Cal's just like glares daggers up them, and the teacher just like reluctantly puts it back in the right spot.
Amazing. Okay. So my younger sister's name is Stephanie Dangerton. Her gamer tag is Perplexing Pixie.
Nice.
I love it. I'm
going to say that like Stephanie, like when I'm with Stephanie, like my personality actually shines through. Like I actually become unshy and like an actual person that people would want to actually talk to.
I got my friend Rob, and I gave him a really boring gamer tag.
Rob,
because his name is Rob Fellows, and his name is Robbie Fellows.
Good old Rob.
Yep. And I'm like, he couldn't have done any better, but he does have like the perfect like announcer name. You know, it's like I'm Rob Fellows, and you know, so he's like, why mess with that? Ace of Base is beautiful.
That's perfect.
I made up a completely nonsense Decimation Squad 5 position just for my rival, my childhood friend and rival.
Well, here's the thing: is that we made an absolute nonsense game called Decimation Squad, so you can make up whatever position you want. So Ryan has 2 connections because he picked 2.
Everyone has 2 connections.
Okay.
It's just that if you have a pink relationship, if in one of your traits, that has to be a first connection. But if you don't have any pink relationships, then you get to go free wheel and decide them for yourself.
I see.
Yeah.
So I still have to pick another connection.
I'm just making up connections here. The captain of the arrows is Armitage Harrington.
Ooh, the third.
I don't know if she's a third. I think she's the first of her name.
Gotcha.
First of my name. She's an engineer on the arrows, and she's the main person trying to recruit me to their squad.
I like that. Amelia, I'm thinking as well, the connection I made as my rival Sarah played for the Demons in when I was in first year. So played 1 year and then got like yeeted to the neons. Got tempting offered and left. So I was thinking that probably since we all played together and we're like a kind of like a close knit group, that Sarah's probably someone that Estelle would know pretty well as well.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
I'm just making up shipping connections going on here.
Oh yeah.
I think the audience would probably ship Armitage and Victor. She's trying to convince him as an ends to her means, but is there something else potentially there?
I Like maybe she has other motives for
Mm-hmm.
wanting
Like,
Victor.
does she try to flirt her way into getting his attention and
My
like
goodness.
doesn't mean it at first, but maybe eventually does?
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know how to answer that question.
Okay, and her gamer tag is Cybersword7, and the V in 7 is spelled with a 7.
Ooh.
Is anyone thinking of making our coach in quotation marks, aka the teacher that stands there and is like, "You go."
As one of your connections?
Mm.
That's honestly, I would love to make our teacher.
Okay.
Okay, so the question I have for the group then is, what does this teacher teach day to day?
Gosh, that could inform so much.
I know.
Yeah. And that's
Like-
a college too,
like-
so the options are like wide open.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking it could be the drama teacher, or it could be a science teacher. Could be like ancient literature, like something completely unrelated.
Like a
Yeah.
department that's being like slowly withered by the school, so they need the extra work.
Right.
Like
Oh, God.
like somebody that's like too into Shakespeare or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want them to teach something kind of obscure. I'm trying to think of like classes that I took, but the only one I can think of that's like super specific is Constitutional Law and Judicial Policy Making Session 2, which is the latter half of the constitutional amendments.
Of course.
It's the second half.
My university had Loot 101.
Loot 101.
Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't take it that I
Like-
really should have.
Like the musical instrument, or like
The musical
Okay.
instrument.
Like dragons loot? Like, Ryan, come on.
like what? You never know.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, maybe they just do teach history of mythical creatures.
That's
Oh,
true.
Yeah.
that does sound like
History
a fun
of mythical creatures in ancient literature.
Yeah. That sounds like a very collegey sort of position.
I feel like we need another shock. I'm going to create someone else who's on the shocks.
Mm.
Like, I want to give your sister a boyfriend who's on the shocks.
Yes.
I'm deeply tempted.
Yeah. That
All
would
right,
be
Ryan,
amazing.
boyfriend or girlfriend?
Boyfriend or girlfriend.
Ooh, that's true.
Or friend, partner? It was like, no, it's
Or
not just
non-binary
friend. There's
delight.
more word to
Yeah.
it than that.
I'd say any is fine.
Mhm.
Yeah,
All right. I'm going to give Stephanie a girlfriend then.
wonderful. I think Stephanie probably sports a hot magenta pixie cut.
Mm. One of the quintessential queer haircuts.
Yeah.
There's a drop-down list that we all get to choose from, obviously. When we accept our identity, I went with the undercut, personally.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I need a really uppity name for this professor of history of mythical creatures and ancient literature.
Humphrey
Mm.
Georgeton the third, Dr. Humphrey Georgeton the third.
All right.
Dr. Georgeton.
Is it E. Humphrey or what? E.
I honestly have no idea. Words and syllables just left my mouth.
His name is actually Dr. Humphrey Hithersbottom, and we did make him a gamer tag.
No.
Amazing.
Yeah. We did.
What is this gamer tag?
We named him Dr.
Dr.
Bottom.
Ah,
Because we're college students. So,
Yeah. This
So
checks
we
out.
gave him the gamer tag because we're like, you know what? If you're going to be here, sit down. Like,
ah.
on those practice days when not everybody shows up or, the game is down for maintenance or whatever. We're like,
So good.
yeah. So Dr. Humphrey Hithersbottom, professor of history of mythical creatures and ancient literature, is at Dr. Bottom.
There's nothing there but blurry photos of his face and
Yep.
and books.
Mhm. when they show the coaches on the telecast, they've got the subtitles on there with his gamer tag on there.
Yeah.
Like all the other coaches have regular names and everything, but
Yeah.
at Dr. Bob.
I like that the other team's coaches have their gamer tags too. People are like, these are like names that you know, like, because they are people that did this professionally or something. But not us. We have Dr. Humphrey as our bottom. I feel like I might need a more interesting last name.
Aside from Jones.
Yeah. I'm not good at coming up with last names. Last names are hard.
They are.
So I'm like trying to like think back in my family history. Like, what are we, like past generations? What can we use? But like, none of those are really great names either. Not really feeling Troxel. Huseman. Zuccarelli. Zuccarelli. Yeah, Estelle Zuccarelli is too much name. Just like Amelia Zuccarelli was a lot of name too, but
that would be so much, yeah.
I mean, her full name was Amelia Cecilia. No, I'm glad my mom said no to the middle name. You know what? We'll go ahead and we'll use Troxel. That's fine.
Nice.
Do we have people? I think we
do. My goodness.
We do. We have people. I don't know how you like. Do you usually like go through and like fully introduce your characters that you've made?
Let's talk about the stuff that we haven't really like talked about too much. Yeah, because if we want to put things together, I can start since I'm on the left over there.
Yeah, why not?
So I've got Victor Dangerton, aka Two Shoes McGee, 14. Is the striker on the Dockside Demons in his second year of college here. 20 years old. He took a year off after high school just to make sure that things were all set with his sister. And so he had a little bit of extra money saved up going into college. So he started school at the age of 19 instead. And he has the tempting offer from the Arrows. They're trying to get him on their team because they need a good face character. All of their people are very to the point, kind of cold, and not very good public-facing personalities.
They need somebody for the cameras.
Exactly.
For the press conferences.
Yeah. And they are offering a full scholarship for not only myself, but also my sister, if I happen to move over to their team for those purposes. And my sister is actually on the Sharks currently in the community college. So this would be a good opportunity for her to go to a very well-funded state school for free as well. So my younger sister, Stephanie Dangerton, aka Perplexing Pixie, is a ball of energy, always very positive with her interactions with others. And she cares about her team and her friends deeply. She's like always wearing her emotions on her sleeve. And she would do anything for her big brother except hold back when playing against each other.
Well, as is true for siblings, I think.
Yeah.
There's nobody you want to beat more than your own siblings.
Exactly. And the person that is primarily scouting Victor on the other team is Armitage Harrington, aka Cyber Sword 7. She is the captain of the Arrows in the engineer position. She's in her third year, but also 20 years old. She's the straight shooter type, doing whatever it takes to get the job done. She's also always seen as cold and calculating, but can turn on the charm when it suits her. And she's the type that'll be your best friend until she has no more use of you. And then she'll drop you and move on without a second thought. But that's the exterior that she's kind of molded for herself over her life. And she's actually really tired of it. And she doesn't know how to drop it at that point. But she's kind of stuck in it for now because that's what's it's expected of her. And I think, and then for my team heartthrob question, my signature look is I've got 2 different styles of shoes at all times. That's kind of it. But then also, like, when I do something really cool in game, I'll like give a peace sign to the camera, and maybe a little wink, just to give a nod to the fans. But the part that I always hide from the fans is that very, very shy in reality.
So like that's like your persona, that like you play this character during the games, but like outside of the games. Got it.
Exactly. So I try to be the center of attention to kind of deflect the spotlight from me, ironically.
I love it.
Yeah. And that's Victor Dangerton.
I like that in a way Victor and Armitage are both playing a role, and I wonder if they'll ever have a chance to talk about that.
I know.
Just be themselves.
Complex people.
Yeah. Should I jump in next?
How about yourself, Kaylee?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So I'm playing Cal Trevitt. They, them, their handle is @GravityFlip. They are the engineer of the Dockside Demons in the 3rd year at 22 years of age. The engineer is the control center of the Decimation Squad team, we seem to have decided. And I think it's traditional for them to be the captain, but in this case, it's a heavy responsibility because last year was like the total demons crash, burn, shame.
The decimation, one might say.
Yeah, the decimation. And, last year's captain wouldn't even put them in like the major tournament of the year. And everyone left and it was just bad. And so coming back to try to like pick the demons up and put them together, Cal is like, this is what's doing, this is what's happening, and it's going to be done my way. And so they sunk a lot of their own money and time into computing equipment. They spent the summer reorganizing the computing equipment and installing new stuff and fixing the printer room and tried to handpick as much of the team as possible. They really wish that they could have excluded Estelle, who abandoned them in the team's time of need, but they can't because she's good at being a striker. And so Cal's relying on this both to not just be a failure, but also because they need some of the prize money that the top teams get in order to not be completely broke from redoing all the computers. Their playstyle is all about control. You don't just accept the map you've been given, you change the map to suit your style. And so their traits I mentioned before is our new captain and rival start. And their childhood friend who has turned enemy is Sarah Hong, whose handle is Ace of Base, because she plays the base position which is a role that not every team has, and Sarah practically invented it for herself. It's all about stealth and reveal, about playing in and around the gravity cards. And Sarah doesn't play in a conventional way. She doesn't play the way other people do. She doesn't listen to anyone else's opinion about anything. She used to play for the Demons back in our first year, in the first year that Cal was at Dockside. But then like she got really big online and got picked up by the Neons and got a really good offer from them. And, abandoned Cal's like as one of the many, many people who did so. And they had a huge fight about that. It was even worse than Cal and Estelle because they were childhood friends who like started playing together. And, their plan was to like use these unconventional tactics and like make a thing together. But Cal can't do that without Sarah. So kind of ruined everything, My other connection is Henny Khan, whose handle is at the Boom Machine. She plays for the South Beach Sharks, and she is Cal's family friend. She's known Cal from when they were little, way too many kids' nights where the parents were like, children there, and kind of left them alone, so they just played video games. And she knows a lot of embarrassing personal facts about Cal. And as well as that, she's a striker in her second year and she's dating. Stephanie Dangerton, but I don't know. I think they're keeping her on the down low for now. So if we're playing a full game, I think that was something that would come out, as we as we saw what happened with them. I think I mentioned most things that are that came out of my character. For their new captain trait, I think their biggest worry is that someone is going to bail again, which is why they are trying to control so much. Everything from the play style of the team to when people train and how they're going to approach different tournaments. It's just lock it down. And I don't think they realize that sometimes the level of control they're trying to have is kind of working against them in terms of trying to get people on board. And oh gosh, the other thing mentioned about Sarah, one of the rival stock questions is, what out-of-school activity do you still reluctantly share? So I decided that they live 3 houses down from each other, and Cal still mows Sarah's parents' lawn every 3 months for $100 so they can spend it on computing equipment.
Oh no.
Amazing.
So that's everything there is to know about Cal.
Amazing.
All right. I am playing Estelle Troxel, she, her pronouns, at Sparks Fly. Estelle is a hardcore Swiftie and wears a lot of sparkles and very girly styles, but also is super into Decimation Squad 5. So, she is a woman who contains multitudes. She quit the team last year because it was just falling apart, and because they weren't going to be entered into any tournaments. She felt like she just really, it wasn't doing what she wanted it to do. But she really, really missed playing because this game is really important to her. So she decided to come back. And Estelle is a striker, and she's in her 4th year this year. So it's her final year of college, and she's really kind of grappling with what to do after this. And it's part of the quitting last year too, was as the team fell apart, she kind of felt well, maybe I should be focusing on quote unquote real life and what's going to happen after this, and grow up and stop playing video games, as your parents say sometimes. And she still ended up back here after all of that and was I missed it too much. This is what I want to do afterwards. And so her connections are a friend on the New Crest Neons. His name is Rob Fellows, and his tag is at Robbie Fellows. He's the engineer on the other team, but they've been playing together for a long time, in high school and stuff. They played together. And Rob has already started looking for options on what to do after college and is starting to interview for coaching positions and commentator jobs and things like that. And so they've been kind of talking about what to do about that. And she's starting to feel jealous a little bit, I think, that he seems to have it more together. Her other connection is Dr. Humphrey Hithersbottom. He's our team supervisor. So he's, just here because we have to have a faculty member associated with our team. He is a professor. He teaches history of mythical creatures and ancient literature. But he's really here because his position has been cut down because the liberal arts are not a thing that schools care about as much anymore. And so he needs the money. He does not understand today's youths and their esports, but every so often we really try to get Dr. Hithersbottom to participate with us. So we did make him a gamer tag. So he's at Dr. Bottom because we thought it was funny. He kind of feels like he sort of knows that there are kids on the team, and sometimes he gets our names close to right. And we're really proud of him for that. He calls Victor Vincent probably. It's close enough. So yeah, I think Estelle is grappling with the fact that she is now the sort of senior member on the team, but because she took that year off, Cal is now the captain, and Cal obviously resents Estelle for leaving. Estelle resents Cal a little bit for being the captain, even though she feels like maybe she should have it because she's, the oldest. And she's trying to figure out what to do next. See what happens from here.
Amazing.
Awesome.
I want to play not only this game, but the game that we created.
You want to play Decimation Squad?
I really want to play Decimation Squad 5.
Mm-hmm.
This game sounds amazing.
So the last thing we would do, and actually got 2 more things to do for character creation in a full game. The first one to do is decide which connections we are going to play. So as I mentioned, along with your major character, you also going to play a connection that someone else has created. And you can do it 2 ways. You can either each basically both pick one connection and then the facilitator plays the remaining connections, or you can like fully slice and dice it if you're like comfortable with story games and you want like a more fully collaborative game as well.
Yeah. Do we want to each pick one person from each other's?
I really want to play Armitage.
Amazing. Yeah, I
because
think
I really want to play Dr. Humphrey, Hither's Bottom, if that's okay. I could also play Robbie Fellows.
Well, the only thing is we don't want a situation where somebody is playing 2
their
connections.
Own person.
Oh, well, someone can't play their own person. That's important. But also, you don't want someone to be playing, if possible, 2 connections from the same rival team. Because that means when we get to verse those rivals, there'll just be one person being like, yes. And I also
That's true.
combat you in the Decimation Squad. So I think that this plan would work because if I play Stephanie and Rob, then that means that if one of you plays Sarah and the other one plays Henny, we did it.
Yeah, I think that would work out well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
could play Henny.
You want to take Henny? I'll take Sarah.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. I like how this feels like picking people for like dodgeball in school.
Right.
Very on brand.
So now we know all about our characters and also the connections that we're going to play. We have one last thing to do in our team sheet. So if you want to pop back over to the Demons team. So each of the teams in the game has a team special. And this team special is going to like help us with the fiction of the game, but also it can directly contribute to match games and come up with matches as well. So the Demons team special is Demons Under Fire. And this is, people say a lot of things about the demons. Which ones get to your team the most? So we're all going to come up with one thing, or you can also choose one of the examples if you're like, oh, definitely that one, that really ticks our team off. And you can think about this from the perspective of your character, like, or you can think about it in general, which one really, what people say about the demons that really gets our goat.
I think people are sometimes like, oh, they still have a team?
So, like, I didn't even know the demons still existed.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anything jumping out for you, Haley?
I'm still thinking about it. I'm trying to think of something that's going to, like, fit our characters well. I think, I want something, like, about the fact that, like, you can only be a demon for 1 year because after that you're going to do something better with your time. I think that's what I think I'm going to go with.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I'm thinking of something like how we've only gotten here because we've gotten lucky in our matches, not because of skill.
I like that. I wonder if it's like specific to the maps. Like they're only here because they've gotten like the best maps for their play style or something. Like just lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just lucking out on their map selections.
Yeah, right.
We only got the easy ones.
Awesome. So those are going to be the things that the other teams are saying about the demons, and some of these will come up during play to haunt us.
No.
As
That's
well.
so rude.
And we'll be changing this as the game goes on, because obviously some of the things that people say they're not going to say anymore. Instead, they're going to think of new awful things to say about the demons. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So yeah, that's it. We did it. We've created our team. We've done collaboration. We've got our characters ready to go and our connections. And that's everything you do before you start a game of Fight with Spirit.
Oh my gosh.
I love this so much.
I love these. Like, we did it. Oh my gosh.
Gosh, this is
What
so
a good team. What a good game we created.
I cannot wait for the fanfic on this one.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, Haley, thank you so much for joining us for the Fight with Spirit character creation episodes. These were fantastic. I'm so excited about our characters. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
My pleasure. I really enjoyed getting into the drama that we could bring out with our characters.
Yes.
So much drama.
Yes.
And
do you want to remind everybody where they can find you online?
Yeah, for sure. So you can find me at Storybrewers Roleplaying on X, Blue Sky, Facebook, and generally if you search Storybrewers Roleplaying, you can find this game and many more that we've created as well.
Awesome. Well, Haley, thank you again. And thank you to everybody for listening. Please join us on the next episode for our discussion block. Call to action.
Yeah, like that. This game was, okay. Decimation Squad 5 sounds like a great game.
Yeah. It does.
It's really the reality of it. Like, I mean, Fight with Spirit is awesome too, but I want to play Decimation Squad.
I do want to play Decimation Squad
so
5.
badly.
It sounds amazing.
It sounds so good, right? Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah. I love the thought of being able to dive into an RPG like this and actually effectively brainstorm a game like that.
Yeah. No, I like being able to make our own games, like the same as we did with Sims Esports.
I know.
Well, I think it is nice to show off how, because we did talk about it, at the beginning, that like you don't, it's a sports game, but it's not about sports, right?
Right.
And so I think our game kind of showcased that like you don't have to know anything about the game at all in order to be able to have great characters and tell a great story with this game.
Exactly. As long as it's a competition, right?
Exactly.
That your characters are competing in, that's the game.
Exactly.
You compete and you try not to fall apart as a team.
Yeah. You try, but then also not try. Well, the team tries. You as players do not try.
No. There's so many threads to pull on.
Yeah.
And like we talk about it a bit more in the discussion episode, so I don't want to give too much away, but I was very much delighted by how everything tied together from the character creation from start to finish in this game. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for that episode to come out next week because the discussion is fantastic that we had. But like, yeah, Decimation Squad 5 do want for sure.
Yes. Yeah. So before we let you go for the day, though, we have our calls to action.
First up, if you liked what you heard so far in the series, you probably will love the new supplement for Fight with Spirit called Skyjoust. And that is actually a supplement that is based off of a podcast right here on the One Shot Network by the same name. The supplement was written in collaboration with James D'Amato and includes 7 different tournaments, multiple jousting events, and so much more. So you can actually check that out on the Storybrewers website, which will be linked in the show notes. And it looks delightful. We talked about that a little bit during the recording, about how much work that they put into that. And it looks like it turned out fantastically.
Next up, speaking of Decimation Squad 5 from before, We ordered stickers for our Sticker of the Month Club folks that are supporting us on Patreon at the $10 and up level. Normally, we like to model those stickers after the series from that month. We are playing a little bit of catch up because, listen to our chit chat, and that's why. Because life happened. And then we also didn't put out a series for January. So we will put a post up on our Patreon showcasing our fun designs, but for January, we have a cute little graphic of Ryan's language filter.
Language.
For February, I made a beautiful Hawaiian wizard's cape.
Yep.
And then
So
for
good.
March, we have a holographic sticker this time for everyone's favorite game, Decimation Squad 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to go a little extreme for the extreme Decimation Squad 5.
Yeah. I liked the colors and I really wanted it to be. I was like, this needs to be holographic. It just does.
Needs to be
If it's
holographic.
for real
Yeah,
gamers,
it's got to be holographic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
that's how you know it's legit.
Uh-huh. Well, you can get this and so much more from our Patreon. If you sign up at the $5 and higher level, you'll get some C3 dice, some custom Chessex dice, personalized with the C and our logo on them. Very nice. A personal thank you card, handwritten and crafted lovingly by Amelia herself, and bonus episodes and a whole bunch more. But even at the $1 level, you'll get a thank you every episode. And we do have quite the list. So we're still doubling up. We might have to triple up sometime soon. But as usual, we start with Lieutenant and DJG, aka Tigranosaurus. Thanks for making this all possible.
Thank you, Eric Bontz and Daryl Holiday II. We could not do this without you.
Thanks, Shadim Cabal and the Shyest Barbarian. We are glad to have you here with us.
Benjamin Sweeney and Lorcan McGinnis, we are so grateful to you.
Rob Fletcher and Kevin Brown, thank you so much.
Thanks, Tentacle Duck and Cole McCallum. We're so glad to have you both backing us. And I got to say Tentacle Duck.
Yes. John Adamus and Terry's terrific tongue twister telling turtles, totally talented trombonist centenars, tantalizing with tall tales and tic tacs. Thanks for believing in us.
You're so close on that one. You almost got it.
So close.
Carlos Salazar and Eric S., you are both the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Ross Kingston and Ian Potmeyer. We are so glad to have you here with us.
Sorgoth and Liam G., many thanks to both of you.
Brian Colm and Garden GM, thank you so much.
Tom and Blue Kryptonite, you are the best.
Thanks to Danny and Nicole Trainer. We are glad to have you here with us.
We appreciate your support, Liam Murray and Kenning. Thank you both.
Thanks to Brian Kurtz and Mark Efair. So glad to have you backing us.
And Drew Owen, we are so grateful to you.
And thank you to all of our future patrons. Your support is helping keep the lights on for the show. And we are able to afford things like a webpage, cloud storage, remote recording software, editing software, books that we cover for all of our series, all sorts of stuff, and a lot of other little miscellaneous expenses that add up over time.
It's true.
We are currently breaking even pretty much barely. So if you want to help us out at all, this is the absolute best way to do so. And by doing so, you're allowing us to do even more for all of you in the future.
That's all we have for today's episode. You can come back next week to hear the discussion portion of the series and more amazing fanfic, as always.
So good.
We say that every time, but like it always is. So
we're really good at this.
We're like really good at this. We're so excited for this series. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, take care, stay safe, drink some water, vote in elections if those are happening around you somewhere. We're in primary season. Believe in the heart of your squads and keep making those amazing people. We'll see you next time.
Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at CreationCast, or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can also be found in the show notes. If you'd like to support our show, find us on Patreon. Get access to bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and much more at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. Thanks for joining us. And remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We'll see you next time.